job. Thank you, Nick. If anybody wants to volunteer to be our IT coordinator, please see Nick after the program. There will be time for, like I said, for people to come sit here and talk about June. And then we have a handful of poems that people want to read. She was a poet herself, and we have a couple of her poems on the program. And then there'll be tiny bit of silent meditation and some closing dedication prayers at the end. Tea and cookies are out already, so help yourselves. And I want to say specifically to the Zoom people that a couple of things relate specifically to you. If you want to speak about June, you can do that when the time comes. Just raise your hand or wave your hand, and Nick will be watching when we get to that part of the program to give you a chance to speak. Also, the program that we're all looking at has been uploaded to the chat in Zoom, so you can follow along with us, download it. It's a PDF document. And if you have comments that you want to put in the guest book, because we are all signing a guest book that we will send to June's niece, Deborah Walter. If you want to say something in the chat, do that, and we'll save the chat and include it later too. So I think, let me see, have I said what I needed to say? Okay, I think we can begin. I don't see any more people parking and coming up. So as I said, we're hearing from the many different practice groups that June participated in here at EBS. And first up is the Kwanum or Korean Zen program, a tradition that comes to us, and their chant is offered by Lisa Kessler.
Thanks, Cheryl. So June was a good friend of mine too, and I can really relate to her because I am a wanderer myself. I have wandered into Kwanum in the past few years. June practiced with the group a few years before that. And so I'm representing Kwanum because neither of our local teachers could be here, but they did write something that I just wanted to read to you, and then I hope you will join me in the chant. So this is a simple chant. This simple chant is repeated over and over again with the accompaniment of a wooden lotar. Judging also is the bodhisattva that accompanied those who are travelers or who have died, helping them to arrive at their destination and or clarify their karma during a 49-day period during which their consciousness is transforming from one life to another. June chanted Jijang Bulso with the Kwanum practice group. So what we're going to do is just Jijang Bulso, Jijang over a few times. So I'll start and you can then chant with me. Jijang Bulso, 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 Chi Chang Bo
Zoom problems. Oh my God. Pause.
Can you check to see if people are receiving this?
I'll text Deborah and see if she's getting.
Can you hear me?
Yes?
I can hear you, but all of a sudden the screen went dark. It says I'm viewing Marcia's screen.
Marcia can't get on yet. I'm trying to get on.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we should leave and, oh, there you are. We're back.
No, stay, don't leave, we'll figure it out.
Hi.
We'll figure it out.
Can they see it there? Because it looks like we're good.
We can see you.
Oh, now you can see us. Okay, we're back.
You on, Marcia?
So, okay, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. That was great. Next, we'll just go ahead, right? Just journey on. Next are 2 Tibetan-style prayers and a mantra that are practiced in the EBS Dharmata group offered by Melissa Gill.
So I am representing the Saturday morning Dharmata group. June was a member of our group for a long, long time. Can't see your head. Maybe I'll sit.
I think sitting is better.
Sorry. June was a member, I don't know how long she was a member for our group, at least as long as I have been.
6 years.
Yeah, right. And especially for the last 2 or 3 years, a pretty constant member. And so we chose these prayers because we do them every week, and June especially loved them. So the first one is a loving kindness meditation, also known as a compassion meditation, and I'm going to lead everyone through it. So there's no audience participation for that. And then the second one is the 4 immeasurables, and I will invite you, if you'd like to repeat after me this prayer. And then the third one is called the Prajnaparamita mantra. And when we practice on Saturdays, we just do it all together. So I'll invite people from that Saturday group to join me, and anyone else who would like to, or you can just listen. Please close your eyes and let your awareness rest on your breath. Now, please visualize someone or those you love sitting in front of you. Say to them with your whole heart, "May you be safe from inner and outer harm. May you be free from guilt, shame, and hatred. May you enjoy physical and mental well-being. May you live with the ease of an open heart. May you go beyond your inner darkness and awaken to your radiant true nature as boundless love. Now, please visualize someone or those who you find to be challenging or difficult sitting in front of you. Say to them with your whole heart, may you be safe from inner and outer harm. May you be free from guilt, shame, and hatred. May you enjoy physical and mental well-being. May you live with the ease of an open heart. May you go beyond your inner darkness and awaken to your radiant true nature as boundless love. Now, imagine everyone in the world is sitting in front of you. Say to them with your whole heart, may you be safe from inner and outer harm. May you be free from guilt, shame, and hatred. May you enjoy physical and mental well-being. May you live with the ease of an open heart. May you go beyond your inner darkness and awaken to your radiant true nature as boundless love. May we express loving kindness toward each other. So that war, conflict, and every form of strife come to an end. Allowing peace and harmony to pervade the entire world. So for the next prayer, I'm going to repeat the line, and then I'll ask whoever would like to repeat after me. I cry a lot, so. Okay. May all beings have happiness. and the cause of happiness.
May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness.
May all beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering.
May all beings be free from suffering and the cause of suffering.
May all beings never be separated from the joy that knows no sorrow.
May all beings never be separated from the joy that knows no sorrow.
May all beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred.
May all beings live in equanimity, free from attachment and hatred.
Okay, and we'll recite the next Prajnaparamita mantra 3 times together. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha.
Thank you, Melissa. That was really. So now we have a prayer and a mantra from the Tara's Triple Excellence tradition. And to be honest, June did not practice this tradition with us, but she was a fan of the female Buddha known as Tara. And so we have a group that practices Tara every Sunday morning. And this is what we do. So we have I will read the prayer and the supplication to Tara, and then we can, if you know the mantra, lots of people know the mantra, you can sing it with us, okay? And we're gonna do the Tara mantra 21 times. Okay. Embodiment of all the Buddhas of the 3 times, resplendent, exalted teacher and noble Tara inseparable, I beseech you, please bestow your blessings upon me. Bless me to thoroughly pacify all the stains of my distorted views, to bring forth every genuine realization, and to overcome all obstacles to actualizing the Mahayana teachings. I have to leave this singing, okay. Okay. Om tare tu re soha. 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 So, over the last few days of her life, we played for her a recording of this mantra for June. And I sang it to her, I was sitting with her, sang it to her, and I think she was touched. I think it helped her. But it was all we could do, so we did it. So now we move on to where June left the building and extended herself out to the world. We were supposed to have a guided compassion meditation from Dent Gitchell, who also had the cultivating compassion training that June had taught with her at LifeQuest, and is a teacher of that tradition. But someone in his family is dying. So he's in Missouri, where his family is gathering at this person's bedside. Life goes on. So I would like to invite Diane up here to read the first poem for us. Thank you. And
good morning. June wandered our way, a group called the Servant Leadership Group, who was meeting under the roof of the Episcopal Church in Conway, Arkansas, St. Peter's. about a decade ago, maybe longer. She had heard about this servant leadership program and was drawn to it and wanted to interface with us and share with us what she knew through her experience. And so we began learning and sharing from one another and working together to create a curriculum centered on compassion with self and compassion with others. And June helped us to create all of that curriculum, and we used it. She taught a few of our first classes. And in so doing, she created a poem, which is in your services book. I would like for you to read silently, and I will read it to you. It's called Compassion, a poem by June Stewart. Compassion is as sturdy as an oak and supple as a willow, soft as grass and nourishing as rain, warming like the sun. It is as generous as a meadowlark's song. Compassion lifts the sky, releases the rose's perfume, puts ground under our feet, feeds our children, buries our dead, comforts those who call out in their sorrow, opens our wings so new flesh can grow. Compassion provides a chair for the weak, a bed for the tired, shoes for those who seek, a path for the journey, a destination here now. Waiting to be called, eager to serve, it sees only goodness, what is, what can be, as stable as earth and fluid as water. It connects, dissolves, reaches out, holds steady. It gives itself freely, blessing all, you, me, he, and she. Oh, give thanks. Thank you for sharing June with us.
Thank you, Diane, and thank you for bringing that vision of what she did here to us today, because we wouldn't have known about it if you hadn't. Okay, next, she started this loving kindness and compassion group originally in the library at North Little Rock, but then when COVID hit, they went on Zoom and met that way. And about a year ago, I think, she said that she wanted to read a Pema Chodron book with them. And we talked about that, and she wasn't sure if she was qualified to teach from this book. I said, you absolutely are qualified. Please go ahead. And so they did an in-depth study of that book with her guidance for about a year. And Diane and Jenny have looked over all that, and they picked out a couple of excerpts to share. So Diane, will you come up and do that? Read that for us, thank you.
I first met Jean in the Dhamata group that studies with Anand Tupten on Saturday mornings. And after about a 15-year break from EBS, I started back. And I'll always remember the first group that I attended, because I sort of stood there and I knew a couple of people, but I was surprised how hard it is to come in and join. And I'll always remember Joy coming towards me and welcoming me. And then always being sure for, as I came in until I was really integrated, to be sure that I was okay and ask about my life. And so I met Jean through studying on Saturday mornings with Anand Tupten's group. And then when she said she was going to offer the book study on Lojong from Pema Chodron, there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to take it with her. And so I started doing the book study, and also had the pleasure of then really having an ecumenical experience, because it was such a variety of people that I came to know and treasure. And I'm so glad to see you here in person today. It was a wonderful experience, and occasionally she did 2 hours on Thursday, and I do the meditation occasionally, but I did the Pema Chodron religiously, if I could use that word. But Jenny and I asked Jenny for feedback about, what did she remember the book study group really spending time on? And this is what she came up with. And then I thought the reading, and Cheryl had suggested the second reading, and it was So June. But at that time, the book club, we didn't spend a lot of time. It was right at the end of the book. And June was really wanting us to finish the book before she left for her small surgery. And so that was the last readings we did, and we didn't have a chance to spend as much time on it. So I really welcome Cheryl's suggestion, because it's seriously important. Okay, so let me see if I can do this. So this is a readings from Pema, and it's how appropriate. We spent, must have been 2 or 3 groups on this one chapter, and kindness, loving kindness and compassion. Yeah, go figure. All right. When you begin to touch your heart, or let your heart be touched, you begin to find that it is bottomless, that it doesn't have any resolution, that this heart is huge, vast, and limitless. You begin to discover how much warmth and gentleness is there, as well as how much space. Your world seems less solid, more roomy and spacious. The burden lightens. In the beginning, it might feel like sadness or a shaky feeling, accompanied by a lot of fear. But your willingness to feel the fear, to make fear your companion, is growing. You're willing to get to know yourself at this deep level. After a while, this same feeling begins to turn into a longing to raise all the walls, a longing to be fully human and to live in your world without always having to shut down and close off when certain things come along. It begins to turn into a longing to be there for your friends when they're in trouble, to be of real help to this poor, aching planet. Curiously enough, along with this longing and this sadness and this tenderness, there's an immense sense of well-being, unconditional well-being, which doesn't have anything to do with pleasant or unpleasant, good or bad, hope or fear, disgrace or fame. It's something that simply comes to you when you feel that you can keep your heart open. And then the last chapter in the book worked on the slogan, the Lojong slogan of train wholeheartedly. We try so hard to hang on to these teachings and get it. But actually the truth sinks in like rain into very hard earth. The rain is very gentle and we soften up slowly at our own speed. But when that happens, something has fundamentally changed in us. That hard earth has softened. It doesn't seem to happen by trying to get it or capture it. It happens by letting go. It happens by relaxing your mind. And it happens by the aspiration and the longing to want to communicate with yourself and others. Each of us finds our own way. The very last slogan is train wholeheartedly. You could say, live wholeheartedly. Let go. Let everything stop your mind and let everything open your heart. And you could say, die wholeheartedly, moment after moment. Moment after moment, let yourself die wholeheartedly.
So we were able to reach Pema Chodron while June was in the act of dying, and Pema was praying for her the whole time. And Nam Thupten was also praying for her, as I understand, the whole time. So, yeah, she was in good hands. This last piece in this section is written by June herself, and Nita Brown is going to read it for us.
I talked to June right after she was told that there was no more treatment to be done, that she knew that she was going to die. And she said to me, I want to have a tea party and I want everyone I know to come. And it was a little too late to make that happen. But this is our tea party. I've interfaced in several of these groups that June was in. I met her in Conway during the servant leadership group that Diane was talking about. And I guesstimated that around 2013 or so. I didn't have good records of that. And I became friends with her. And then now I like to take credit for her becoming a CCT instructor because during servant leadership, Mary Helen Hedges asked June to lead the meditation. Now this is my method, but June didn't know she's supposed to be a meditation instructor until she started leading the meditations and was so good at it. And then after that, she took the CCT. I'd like to take responsibility. What I do know is that she did take the instructions, and Lynn is on screen with us. Hi, Lynn. And June taught, I think she did instruct her student teaching at St. Peter's, but then she moved around, and y'all have heard her mention the Layman Library, and then what y'all haven't heard about is the Essie Purse Factory. So we found a space there at the right price, and we had a really wonderful, I've heard the word diverse, but this was really diverse. And so the Layman Library people came, and the servant leadership people came, and so there were EBS people there, and there were people that had no other connection. So it was awesome. And then you heard there was a little lapse, and then the COVID hit and the Thursday group, and that's where I reconnected. So I've participated in the Thursday group and with the Pema Chodron book, and we also have Charlotte from our Thursday group on the screen. So we've got Lynn and Charlotte from the Thursday group. So it's one of the few chances I've had for a really culturally diverse, except there was an extraordinary number of librarians in the crowd. That's good, but there was a little statistically high. One of the mantras that she shared with us that she used when she was, for herself, when she was really struggling, I am love, I am lovely, see, I can't say it. I am loving, I am lovely. I am love, I am loving, I am lovely. And the last one gets to the self-compassion piece. It's so hard for people. And so I really enjoyed that piece of it. She also, shared with us the love prayer, which was modeled on the 23rd Psalm. And I'm going to just read the first couple of lines. You'll recognize it. Love is my shepherd, I shall not want. Love makes me to lie down in green pastures. Love leads me beside the still waters. Love restores my soul. The last thing, the very last thing June said to me, there is only love. The song of love. You are loved, you are accepted, held in a vast embrace. There is nothing in you, nothing of character or tendencies, race or sexuality, accomplishment or failure that is not held, not needed. You are a child of God. That which you are is deeply wanted. You are not alone, not left to your own devices. There is more going on than can be seen. You belong to an activity that is beyond comprehension. Trust it. You are known. That which you have sought is seeking you. That which you want to offer life is greatly needed. You may not yet know what it is, but it is exactly the right gift and only yours to give. Give it. You are a part of a great leap of loving such as the world has never known. You have work to do. Begin it. There is only one ancient and forever work of art, the slow fashioning of life and the gradual flowering of love. Find your way. Find your companions. Give your life to love. The world sings in its many voices. Do you love me? It stumbles across your path 100 times a day. Respond. Be bred. Be broken. Let go of what you know. Find in your heart what your mind can't comprehend. Moment by moment, place by place, person by person, wound by wound. Dance, fall, fail. You will be busy, but not with the busyness of the world. In the heart of you lies love. Without your opposition, it shines through you. You have only to let yourself be held in the larger embrace. Let yourself be loved. Let yourself be known as who you are, and you will be lit up. Thomas Merton said, there's no way of telling people they're walking around shining like the sun. You are a shining. You are not only the small beings who wants to be safe. You are love. You are alive. You are light. Go shining.
Thank you, Nita. So I want to open the floor now to anybody who might want to speak about June. We'll come back and do the poems after that. So you don't need our permission or anything, just if whatever you want to say. We're just asking you to come sit here so they can hear you on Zoom. Okay. I'm gonna just vacate this chair. I warn you that we're going to sit in silence for a long time. I'm not afraid of silence.
Somebody speaking from that?
Okay.
Cheryl,
Anna, it's Anna.
I'm raising my hand, but I don't know much what to do. I'm happy to see everybody, but I did have a comment to share about a very surprising little get-together that June and I shared. In that last spring and summer, we had many get-togethers because her husband and mine were both sharing chemotherapy at St. Vincent's Hospital at the same time. And so very frequently they would both be in the infusion center together, and we would be in the waiting area as they went through the long, long hours of chemotherapy. And so we had wonderful Dharma talks, and we had wonderful times of saying meditations and prayers for all of those that were getting their chemotherapy and all of those in the hospital. And she touched me so deeply with her thoughts and prayers about how profoundly she felt was the calling of taking care of a partner who was so ill and preparing to die, as was her husband. And of course, at that point, she did not know how closely she would follow him. And we had a beautiful, beautiful time, many, many days through the spring and summer. So thank you all for your incredible sharings and beautiful connections with June, and for this beautiful service. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Okay, how about this? So, why don't we read the poetry? And if people are inspired by that, to come and talk, we will, okay? So first up in the poems is our Soto Zen leader, Judith Elaine.
As you may notice, I was introduced as the Soto Zen leader, and I'm reading something by Thich Nhat Hanh. I found this online because I didn't like what our Soto Zen teacher sent me. I don't think he's participating. Anyway, it happens to be by Thich Nhat Hanh, and I did send this to Flint, our Soto Zen teacher. He was not familiar with it. He said, I'm adding it to my repertoire. So it is Soto sanctioned. This body is not me. I am not limited by this body. I am life without boundaries. I have never been born, and I have never died. Look at the ocean and the sky filled with stars, manifestations from my wondrous true mind. Since before time, I have been free. Birth and death are only doors through which we pass. Sacred thresholds on our journey. Birth and death are a game of hide and seek. So laugh with me. Hold my hand. Let us say goodbye. Say goodbye to meet again soon. We meet today. We will meet again tomorrow. We will meet at the source of every moment. We meet each other in all forms of life. I want to comment that I think I knew June before anybody else. I was an attorney, and she worked at the law library. So I was familiar with her in her professional capacity, and she was equally as capable there as she has been anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith. Next up, we have a poem. This is from a collection of poems that go back hundreds of years to the very first literature of Buddhism, written by nuns in that era. I'm talking about, 800, no, earlier even. I can't even say. It's part of the Pali canon. This goes all the way back. And Betsy's going to read one for us, Betsy Johnson.
Judith, I also knew Jane at the law library, so we go back a long way too. And in fact, this was before she came to EBS, and she was looking for meditation, how to do meditations a long time ago. And she had tried a group here, and she didn't really like it. She said, I don't know. She said, I don't know. I said, well, try this group. And it was June's Soto Zen group, and she loved it. So that's when she really came to EBS, I think. So she was my friend for many years. She did love the feminine presence in Buddhism, so I think she would have loved this book that the poem comes from. I don't know if she read it. She would have loved it. And the first time I heard the Tara mantra sung was by June in the parking lot down here. We were leaving the Dharmata group. I said, well, I'm thinking about doing this Tara study, the triple excellence. And she was like, oh, I love Tara. I said, well, I don't even know the Tara mantra. She said, oh, I know it. Like, please, so she sang it for me. It was very nice. So this poem is for June, my friend. It's by Matika, and it's called Kindness. I know my older sister passed this way. At the top of the mountain, I spread my outer robe where perhaps she once spread hers. I set down my bowl, and there was her staff, the twin of my own. Using both staffs, I lowered myself down and leaned back against a large gray rock. I let go of the staffs, and my hands were empty. The mountain went on holding me. Then it let me go. My staff I also now leave behind, just in case you're ever passing this way.
We have Lynette, who would like to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There you
Hi, can you hear me? Is it my turn?
And now we can.
go. Now we can.
Okay. Thank you for putting together the memorial for June. We all love her very much, and I see some familiar faces here. I was not sure if what to share, because I share many good moments with June, and as I'm here thinking, what are all the positive things and fun things that good times that we had together. When we did the CCT training, we got together weekly to talk as we were training, and we were going through the material and having questions in our minds, and about facilitating the training and all that. And everywhere I have little notes about our conversations, and something that I have to this day that I want to show you here. This is our manual, or teacher training manual, and I have a little note here that I wrote. One day I was speaking with June, and finally we got certified, and we were talking, and we were like, oh yes, we did it, and we finished. And I asked her, I said, well, June, it's like such a big responsibility. I don't want to mess it up, right? Like, what do we do? We get like super difficult questions and things like that. And this is her reply that I want to share with you. She said, if we communicate in a spirit of love, we don't need any other tools. So, to this day, I have my sticky note. I don't know if you can see it. Here. I have my sticky note. I don't know. No, it's very hard to see here. And I have little things, stickies everywhere from June when we had our conversation. I remember something that she said that I was going through to share with you, that she said something during class, on a Thursday class. She said, never separated, never alone, always held. And that spoke to my heart, because even in the most difficult times, in the good times and in the most difficult times, we can always be held. And when we find that little space inside ourselves in the face of suffering, there's always a little space for joy. And that is something that I know June wanted. And from the many conversations we had, she was just so delighted to be able to share anything about helping others, to support anyone, and help everyone to find that little joy inside themselves. I don't want to take much time, but something fun that I wanted to share with you to close is, in one of our CCT retreats that we did, we went to a place here in California, just to review materials and things like that and get together with the other teachers. So we decided to share the room because they had doubles. And I went and I said, well, I can pick you up. And she came, and that was the time that I picked June at your house in Oakland. And well, we all got ready, and it was just, had dinner and with everyone. And we all, got ready to sleep. And then lights were off. And we asked each other, said, June, do you snore? And June was, Lynette, do you snore? And we were laughing like little kids because we said, oh, wow, I guess we should have asked ourselves before we decided to share the room, right? And we were just laughing. Like, oh my goodness, we're going to wake up each other snoring. But thankfully we didn't. So that didn't happen. But it was just silly things like that, and times that we were just laughing for about anything. But most above all, I'm missing my very good friend that she always had something positive to say, and listening to anything. And we had the most silly conversations to the most important and deep conversations. So I'm very grateful for her and for you all, because I have met many wonderful people like you through her. So thank you for being here today and for organizing the memorial for June. May you all be well.
Thank you, Lynette. I just want to tell you, Lynette, too, that the picture of June that we have on our shrine today is one of the ones you sent me from your CCT graduation ceremony. And it was really the happiest. I sort of pulled out, I'll send you a version of what we did, but she just looked so relaxed and happy. And so we put that one on the shrine today for the service. Paul, will you come and read? So we have another poem. This is another Thich Nhat Hanh poem, and Paul Carreras leads our Thich Nhat Hanh practice group here at EBS.
I first met June about 8 or 9 years ago when Cheryl and Mick put together an introduction to meditation instruction class that we were going to do on Wednesday nights. And so for about 6 or 8 weeks, we studied together and practiced, teaching meditation. And so I got to know June a little bit then. And what struck me about June was what regal nature she had. She had a regal bearing. She was a tall woman anyway. She always had perfect posture and stood up straight. She was calm, she was friendly. And she always impressed me with that. This poem, like Cheryl said, is from Thich Nhat Hanh. It's called Umis Parsha, which means touching the earth. Death comes with his impressive scythe and says, "You should be afraid of me." I look up and ask, "Why should I be afraid of you?" "Because I will make you dead. I will make you non-existent." "How can you make me non-existent?" Death does not answer. He swings his impressive scythe. I say, "I come and I go. Then I come again and I go again. I always come back. You can neither make me exist nor non-exist." "How do you know that you will come again?" Death asks. I know because I have done that countless times, I say. How do I know that you are telling the truth? Who can be the witness? Death frowns. I touch the earth and say, Earth is my witness. She is my mother. Suddenly, death hears the music. Suddenly, death hears the birds singing from all directions. Suddenly, death sees the trees blossoming. Earth makes herself apparent to death and smiles lovingly to him. Death melts in the loving gaze of earth. Oh, my beloved, touch earth every time you get scared. Touch her deeply, and your sorrow will melt away. Touch her deeply, and you will touch the deathless.
Cheers open. And thank you.
Dear Sandra, congregation, friends and family of June and June. I don't think we could have asked for a better day. It's beautiful. When I first met June, it was through the Wednesdays, the mindfulness meditation class. And she was such a good teacher. You could tell that she was teaching from what life had taught her about compassion and about loving and being authentic. I heard a quote a while ago that said that church is not a building, it's a community. And I think that when you get sad that you might miss June, remember that she still lives inside of you, inside of me, and that you live with what she had wanted for you and for the world. So, earlier the poem said, "This body is not me." And I like to remember that again when I get sad and miss somebody who is so profound, that she is still here. She's still with us. So thank you for listening.
I wanted to share, because of what was just shared. I thought we had in our Saturday morning Dharmata group, we had a very profound meeting with Jean. I wanted to share it with you all. I wish I could remember more of what she had said, and I'm working on it with the help of the rest of the group. But she came the last time I saw her in a way we could communicate. I did help out with the caretaking, but she went so fast. But the last time she was at the group, one of the things that she said, and it was 2 days, I believe it was 2 days after her husband had died, Bob had died. And I think she was like we all are, even when we know things, we don't know them. And I think she was very shocked that he had died. But one of the things she said that just stuck with me, and I don't remember that much, but this one did, because she said it with such passion. And she said, through all that we've been through, because maybe someone else could speak to what she did go through from November until her husband's death, and then her death a month later, 5 weeks later. It was a lot. She said, what I've really learned from this journey that I've been on, I know so much. She was like, she knew it. She said, I am so much more than this body. And I know it.
Well, I'll say a few more things about June, just things that I remember about her. I remember the first time I met her, and we were having some kind of event here, and we were doing a silent auction, which we used to do a lot. And there was this statue of White Tara. And at that point, I didn't know the difference between white tar and green tar and the 21 tars, and I didn't know any of that. But I just really liked the statue. It's about so big. And we were betting, and I was keeping an eye on it, and I got it. And I was really excited that I got it. And I didn't know June, but people were saying, June's looking for you. And I'm like, I don't even know who June is. Anyway, she found me, and I'm not real tall, and it was kind of intimidating, and she had that short white hair, and she was like, I want the Tara. And she's like, I bet on it, and I want the Tara. I want you to give me the Tara. I'm not giving you the Tara. And I did not give her the Tara. But I remembered that, and I, was like, oh, I hope I don't see this person again. But then we ended up being on the board together for, I don't know how many years, several years, I'm going to say. And we got to be pretty good friends. We'd kind of sometimes talk in the corner and get in trouble. And but I remember she was always outspoken, and she always spoke her mind in the board meetings. And she didn't just let anything slide. It was like she was headstrong, she was stubborn, at least that side is what I saw of her. And I also remember very early on when I met her, she must have remembered me, but came to I think it was one of the Wednesday night groups, and she started telling me how to sit in meditation. She's like, your knees are too high, and you need to do this. And I'm like, man, this woman. I'm like, I'm sorry, one of my knees just won't go all the way to the ground. That's just my knee. So anyway, when I think of June, I just think of this really powerful person who certainly didn't show any fear in her interactions with me, but at the same time was just really kind and generous.
Okay.
I'm Jim. And I was a little hesitant to come up here because I didn't know June as well as most of you. I knew her just through the groups. And like many of you, she made an impression on me there, and particularly, really, with that last meeting. She had a presence that demonstrated something that I know will stick with me. She was talking about her suffering. Her husband had just died. And I remember her saying, sometimes life is hard. And there was just a sense that she was feeling that right then, with a kind of clarity that, we all know comes from practice. I think she's probably born with something and she developed it. And there was something really inspiring in that. And I just want to share that with you. And I think she would have been delighted by the sense of love in this room.
Okay. Well, one last thing I want to say about myself is that I invited June to serve on the board of EBS when I was president, and we embarked on a strategic planning process that was really painful, actually. About 15 people got involved, and we had a facilitator, and we were at a crossroads and having to redefine the community a little bit and adjust things here and there. And she was my fiercest critic in that whole process. Some days I wish she wouldn't show up, but she was right, And what she said was, her bottom line was that we should focus on being a compassionate community. Who cares about what kind of Buddhism you do? Who cares about your authority as a teacher, practically, right? If we can't be a compassionate community of people, then we're failing at everything else. And that really stuck with me, and that guided me as I put this service together too. I feel like she's watching, and she's, no, Cheryl, not like that. Now that's you, that's not how I would do it. And, but I think she would be very pleased, like Jim said. I think we did her good today. We've showed her. But the bottom line for me is that she really was an authentic person, a kind person, and a real, like you knew she just was, and showed a way that we can all be like that in our own way. We won't be robots. We won't be the same. We'll still be vivid and colorful and different, but real. She was very real. So I think I'm going to bring us to a close. There's still tea and cookies. And Nick, if you would just give us a couple of minutes of silent meditation, going us through that, please. Just to.
Can I ask something in the back row, maybe that unplug that shoulders for a moment? That happens in retreats. So we're all like roaring in the background.
So now it's common in Buddhist practice to sort of confirm and celebrate the goodness of what you have accomplished together in the practice today. So we have 3 prayers. I will read them. You could just read along real quick. May all beings everywhere who are plagued with sufferings of body and mind quickly be freed from their illnesses. May those who are frightened cease to be afraid, and may those who are bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people think of befriending one another. May those who find themselves in trackless, fearful wildernesses, the children, the aged, the unprotected, be guarded by beneficent celestials, and may they swiftly attain Buddhahood. This next one is from Dr. Lai's group. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. And this dedication of merit comes from Anam Thupten. By this merit, may all attain perfect awakening, rising above all forces of negativity, going beyond the turbulences of birth, old age, sickness, and death. May all beings be free from the ocean of samsara. So I have her song list, her playlist. The only thing she left us no instructions for what to do when she dies, except her niece found this piece of paper, songs for my funeral. So we'll play that while we have tea and visit. Yes?
What did you say about the books?
Oh, thank you, Betsy. 2 things. One, there is a guest book out there, and we will send that to her niece. So feel free to write in that. And the other is that Betsy collected June's books from her house before Deb went back to California. And they're offered now in this room over here. Feel free to take what inspires you, what you like. Some of them have her notes in them. And if you want to leave a donation to EBS, please do. Is there anybody on Zoom that has anything to say? It doesn't look like it.
I'd like to.
Yes, please do.
This is Deb, my
Yeah.
sister, too. And we're in Santa Rosa today. I just want to say thank you, if I can get through this, everybody. She loved you all so much, and you gave such meaning to her life. The 2 things she wanted to do, that she told me so often, was she wanted to live longer than her husband, Bob, which she did. She didn't think he could go through losing her. And as I was with her and losing her, I understood what she meant. Also, that her compassion group and her meditation group, it meant so much to her. It was like one of her proudest things she had accomplished, and she had accomplished much. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you everybody for all of the support that you gave both of us. I really couldn't have done it without all of you. I just feel like I've got such a family in Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. All right, well. Here we go, her playlist. Okay. Wait a minute. I have to coordinate myself with the microphone, with speakers. I'm sorry, just 1 second. Oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Is there anybody else that's going to speak? No?
I can say something.
Okay.
I'm too emotional, so I was afraid to come up here. June was on fire those last few weeks. She was absolutely wanting to tell us everything she knew about what she'd learned about the truth. And I am so grateful to her. I mean, just going through this service, I mean, there's so much wisdom in there that has touched me. And it's all you guys that put it together and chose the beautiful pieces to read and telling more things about her that I didn't know. And I love hearing that she was so feisty. And it reminds me of when the Dalai Lama came to the University of Arkansas, and he walked onto the stage, and this practice group started singing this beautiful melody, and he said, no. And I was like, no. You know, they were like singing a beautiful Buddhist melody, but there was something about that he was being like June. He was being, I don't know, wise. It sounded blunt or something. Not that I would judge the Dalai Lama, but, you know, it was a lesson to me. Like June is a lesson in, as Buddhists, we think we always have to be nice. Compassion is not nice. Sometimes compassion is discipline. And the other thing that I'm deeply grateful to June for is she showed us how to die. And my dad did that when he died, and that was 10 years ago, and that was, I mean, it just it's life-changing. So thank you all for this service and all it gave to me, and thank you, June.
That is not your playlist.
Oh, and that was a phone, yeah. I want to do one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna sit back down so they can see me. This will take but a second, if I can find it again. I was looking through the books and I was telling myself, don't be greedy. Because there were so many great books there.
Oh.
And so Betsy said she wrote in this one. And so I opened the book to this page. Just kind of, you know, how you open the Bible and say, that's God's message for me today, and this place where I opened the book. Well, it says in June's handwriting at the bottom of the page, equanimity, pliable, stable, flexible, state of non fluttering, concentrated, without blemish, purified, cleansed, all defilements gone. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. So anyway, thank you for the book.
I've got a story that we can end this on a light note. Apparently June had a history of losing silent auctions. We had one, it may have been the same one where you got the white tar, but I won an auction for 3 Zen books. And one of them was an explanation of the Blue Cliff record, Zen koans, which I really had my eye on. Won that silent auction. June had been on it too, and she came up to me afterwards. She said, you know, I bid on that. I said, yeah, I won the bid, and so these are great books. She said, yeah, there's one in there in particular that interested me. I said, which one is it? She pointed to the Blue Cliff record book. And I said, well, look, why don't you take this book? I've got these 2 others that I'll read. And then when you finish this, bring it back to me and I can read it. I never saw that book again.
Okay. That's a good one. So I'm gonna play our playlist and we can have tea and cookies. And thank you, Zoom folks, for joining us. Very nice to see you. We'll leave the screen open if you want to watch us. We'll watch you.
I see.
That's not the queen.